I am Ray, and many have paid in blood for the knowledge you're about to learn today, and you get to watch it on YouTube for free? What a time to be alive. Think about Monsieur Jesus for a moment. One of his fundamental messages, even if he never explicitly said it, he was teaching that you are sovereign, and that there are no powers in this world that have any control over you at all. Not your circumstances, not the elites, not the reptilians. I was going to say a different word. Get canceled. There are no powers in existence, not even in the lowest hell, whose power is not given to them by God. And the crazy thing is, once you start looking at life this way, once you realize that it's all God's game, that God was always in control, nothing to worry about, well, guess what? You stop worrying about things. And you stop allowing your circumstances to dictate your life. And you become the cause of your reality, not at the effect. But what happens when you look out at your life? At most people, it's just like life is just coming at them all the time, and they just overwhelmed. And then they drown and die. And they never figure it out. I mean, some people do, I guess, but if only you knew, the only reason that we struggle in this life is because we place these burdens upon ourselves. If you just surrendered it all, didn't worry about it, everything would work out perfectly. But there's an added element to this. Because, well, you can surrender, which to me is the first step that is required to sovereign power. Because when you're trying to control your life and trying to do everything on your own, there are forces that are more powerful than you, as this mind, as this monkey. So, if you're not ready to stand up against those forces, well, they'll just wipe you away like poop off of, off of the toilet. You accidentally pooped on the toilet. And we gotta get the wipes. You shall not be poop. You shall be sovereign. Royalty. But that's why you see when people stand up against the evil of the world, they just get wiped away. They have no chance. Because the evil, they claim their power. And they don't care what anyone else has to think about it. They say, I want what I want and I'll do whatever to get it. There's a hair on my mic. But a lot of the good-hearted people, they don't do that. They just, want a nice quiet life, listen to some bird sounds, watch some Ray's videos. But there's no problem with that. I appreciate it. But there's also no problem with power. And becoming the most powerful version of you. And living the life of your dreams. And not struggling like an animal. Like a little piggy. This piggy. You will be bacon for someone else who knows their power. I promise. And one of the most spiritual things you can do is live in abundance. Is live your dreams. Because how many people do you think hate their life because they have to settle for things they don't like? They settle for a job, a relationship. Everything. There is a quote a wise one once said. I think it was a fortune cookie. Wait, I think I have it right here. Let's see, good news will come from afar. No, it's not that one. Luck is the byproduct of busting your fanny. A great day is around the corner. I like that one. Let's see if you can see this. Clarify. Come on. I don't have time for this. You see it? I don't know what's wrong with this. It says if yawn. This is taking way too long. I guess I do have time for this. Do you see that? Learn Chinese inside. Wow. Who thought that we would be learning Chinese? It says, you cannot live the life you love. Oh no, wrong. It says, you cannot love life until you live the life you love. And there is absolutely nothing in this universe stopping you from living that life, from loving life. And I'm telling you, as someone who experienced both worlds, ultimate suffering and ultimate peace and freedom and abundance. What changed, you might ask? It was all my own mind. It was all my own thoughts. That's literally all it was. I was the source. It's like, there's that meme with, the little Asian kid in the boot. Let's see if I can find the meme. Looky here. Before spiritual awakening and after spiritual awakening. Very accurate. It's all just us and our self-imposed limitations, and that is what I'm reminding you about. You have no limitations, except for the ones that are self-imposed. Now, it doesn't mean you go jump off a building to see if you can fly. Take off from the ground first. The point is, you want to see your own thoughts limit you and prevent you from everything you've ever desired. Because you'll see it if you pay attention. You'll allow the negative thoughts in, you'll entertain their nonsense, and they'll just drag you down and down and down. There is only one source of evil in this life. Only one thing you must overcome, and that is the monster mind. The monster mind is the source of all ignorance, the great illusion, and it manipulates everyone, playing this game to steal their energy and keep them stuck in negative states of consciousness. Have you not seen The Matrix? Using everyone like batteries in The Matrix. It feeds off fear and worry. And guess what people like in survival mode do? All they do is be afraid, worry about everything. Because they are trapped. But not you. You are not trapped anymore. Because you are awakening. And as you enter into the light, the forces of darkness have no power over you. You don't gotta go out into the world and fight anything. You don't even have to think about the world at all. You have to resonate in your own power and stand in your own authority. But you must know. You can't just pretend. Because life will know when you're pretending. If you take your attention away from the world and focus it upon yourself, dealing with your own darkness, your own ignorance, and your own evil, you overcome naturally by default the evil in the world, and you make the world a better place. But you see all these people trying to make the world a better place, they don't know what they're doing. Because if you have not overcome the monster mind in your own self, it will just come in through the back door and manipulate all your so-called good deeds. And it will sabotage everything good in your life. If you do not learn how to deal with your negative thoughts, you will always have this pollution of your energy. When you're trying to create the reality of your dreams and you allow the doubts and the fears to overcome you, well, now you know why people give up on their dreams. Because the moment that voice comes and says, it's not possible, you say, yeah, I guess you're right. I'm gonna go work at McDonald's. But it's just a thought. The monster mind just offers you a negative thought and you either bite it, take the bait, or you don't. So this is the reminder. I'm reminding you of your true power, your sovereign authority over your own life, not anyone else's life, your own. And also be made aware of the one force coming to get your butt and squeeze those cheeks. Because the monster mind is the villain in this story. You want the villain in order to create tension. But you don't want to go out in the world and get, destroyed by the forces of evil. You only want to deal with the evil in your own self and not anyone else either. Now, sometimes you're forced to. Life will force a situation upon you where you have to deal with the monster mind of someone else. But it's the same thing. It's all God working through these different forms, the different people, the monster mind. It's like God has the demons on the leash, and He only allows the demons to go so far as to help your spiritual growth and nothing more. But the problem is, God also gives you free will. So if you begin entertaining those negative thoughts and the fear and the worry, well, guess what? The demons start getting bigger and more hungry, and then they start getting loose. Once the demons are off the chain, well, God's like, well, you're kind of tying my hands behind my back here. Well, how am I supposed to help you? God will never give you any burden that's too much. But God doesn't say, if you place burdens upon yourself, that they won't destroy you. Because they will, and they happen all the time. because we place unnecessary burdens upon ourselves. We worry and have fear because we don't know our power. You see, the forces of the demonic, the monster mind, it fundamentally is an illusion. Darkness, ignorance, all part of the same thing. The monster mind has no power. Like a parasite, it has to steal your power. So the forces of the demonic, what do? They make themselves look scary so that you are afraid and give them your power. But it's all just a big bluff. They have no power. And another thing too, because the monster mind and the forces of the demonic, they have free will as well, but they can't infringe upon your free will. So you have to give away your consent freely. So they are not responsible. You are responsible. Even if you do it accidentally or unconsciously. We allow the demons in and they destroy us. Take away our power. Because that is what they're doing. They're trying to steal our God force, our life. They're trying to steal our life. So you have to face your darkness in order to realize that it has no power over you. But that we give it our power through our belief. It's like the boogeyman. If you're laying in bed and you're scared that the boogeyman is in your closet, well, you're gonna have a hard time sleeping. But the moment you go in your closet and you open it up, you realize there's no boogeyman. Oh, well, look at that. Yeah, I guess it never existed in the first place. Only in my imagination. But think about it. In your imagination, it's real. But in reality, it's not real. That's the monster mind. That's the forces of the demonic. And you might say, well, no, look at all the evil in the world. There's obviously demonic. And I say, no. The only reason that there is evil in the world is because people allow themselves to be possessed by the illusion, by the monster mind. They give their consent. They give their power away. And then they become possessed, forces for death in the world. But the moment you overcome the monster mind in yourself, you automatically create a more heavenly realm. You bring heaven to earth. So there's no such thing as going out into the world trying to make the world a better place. You have to be the change you wish to see in the world. And a lot of people blame their life on their environment. Life isn't going the way I want because I grew up in Louisiana, God forbid. But the external circumstances of your life are completely irrelevant. Because you have YouTube, infinite information of whatever you want to learn about. So there's no excuse. Which is the crazy thing. People in first world countries struggle. And yet all the answers are freely available. It's probably why they don't ever actually look. Because we don't appreciate things that are freely given to us. We only appreciate the things that we have to work for or struggle for. And that is what will happen, is that once you realize your power, you'll appreciate it because, well, all of those years of struggling. The monster mind is a servant guiding you toward your best life, even though it does not look like that on the surface. It looks like a big, scary monster. That's why I call it the monster mind. I should start saying it like that, the monster mind. But think about it for a moment. The problems that you face in this life, your struggles, your unique predicaments, are the exact thing that life is calling you to address. And in working through those problems, you become the greatest version of yourself. But if you don't face those problems and you settle and you say, well, I'm not going to deal with it. I'm going to go work at McDonald's and I'm going to do that for 20 years. And if you ever make me think about how I'm wasting my life, I'm going to be upset. So don't make me think about it. And think about since the beginning of the time, all the tyrannical rulers of the earth have been trying their hardest to keep everyone a slave. The monster mind working through them all. And yet, for the first time since human history, we have freely available all the information we need to be free and to live any life that we desire. But are you taking advantage of that? I assume you are because you're here. Don't give your power away to forces outside of your control. Because that is giving your consent away and life will Not be apologetic about it. And you will wonder, why is this happening to me? Why does my life suck? Well, life sucks for people who don't know their power. Because if they knew their power, they wouldn't live a life that sucked. They would choose to create a better life for themselves. But what are the things that stop people? It's not possible. Or it takes too much time and energy. I don't have time for this. Whatever negative thoughts arise that keep you from your dreams, don't let your dreams be dreams. Just do it. Just go. Because there's literally nothing stopping you but your own self. And you'll see it. You'll say, well, no, the government, but that's just your own thoughts. Where's the government? Where are they? Besides on your phone. Watching you all the time. They do not exist. The government is just a concept. Everything we think about is just a concept. We're not living in reality. We're living from concepts. So the moment you feel or see the excuse arise in your mind, you can see, well, that's not the truth. That's just a thought that I'm choosing to believe in. And it doesn't matter what it is. You say, my family is responsible. Where's your family responsible now, in this moment? Where are they, besides a concept in your mind? It's just a story that we play over and over again that gives us some sense of validation for why our life is the way it is. And until you take responsibility, well, you will not experience change. Because a king or a queen has to take responsibility for everything. And those who do not are not allowed, they're not qualified to enter into their royal nature. Because why would you want a king or a queen who's not responsible? They're going to destroy the kingdom. So you will not be granted access to this power. And think about people who blame others, who have this victim identity. Well, it's not my fault. It doesn't matter if it's your fault. It's your responsibility to deal with whatever's happened to you. And it is in dealing with whatever's happened to you that you grow and evolve. And it is being a victim where you devolve back into monkeyness. Staying a slave forever. It's not like we have a choice in the matter. I never said it was easy, but reality is reality nonetheless. Until you change yourself, you change your thoughts, you change the stories in your head about what you consent to being true, well then how is anything going to change? Is someone going to magically come and hand you $1 million? I don't think so. And even if they did, you would lose it all. Because you cannot sustain what you have not earned, which you're not qualified for. And once you're qualified for it, well guess what? It's just going to naturally enter into your life because that's who you are. But what do? We try to force reality to be the way we want it to be. Right now. So even if you get what you want, it's just going to go away. And we'll be worse off afterwards than if never having what we wanted in the first place. Most people don't want to put in the effort of facing their demons. But it's the only way. It's like a hero going on an adventure and slaying dragons, finding some gold, doubloons. Do you think you're going to find doubloons if you're just chilling in your bed all day, not doing nothing? I don't think so. No doubloons for you. You have to take risks. You have to risk your survival. You have to overcome your survival instincts that is telling you, no, don't do that, don't go over there because there could be monsters. Well, even if there is monsters, you got a big sword. You slay them all. Because now you know your power. So you're not afraid. You will be rewarded in life in exact proportion to the strength of your character and the value that you provide to the world. And you create that strength and value by going on adventures and embarking on a journey of self-discovery, claiming your power, persevering in the face of undefeatable odds. Unsurmountable, that was the word. Unsurmountable odds. And the more you overcome, the more powerful you are. Because it's like in a video game, slaying dragons, oh, some XP. More XP. Grinding. But those who slay no dragons get no boons, nor doubloons. And if you pay close attention, you will find that the monster mind the source of all the terrible problems in our life, all the suffering that we go through, it was never meant to break you. It's meant to make you aware of where you still need to grow and evolve. And it is in recognizing, well, in what ways is my life not going the way I want it to? Instead of wallowing in suffering, you address the problem. And you say, okay, well, life isn't going the way I want it to in this way. Let me just look at the problem and deal with it. And naturally, you just overcome it. And you keep hitting your head against that wall until you do. And every time you get a little bit stronger, you can deal with bigger problems. And it's not that big of a deal for you. Whereas some people, they can't even handle tiny little problems without breaking apart. You can settle for an easy life. But one day you will look back with regret that you could have done more. And what does it matter anyway? We're all going to die. Wouldn't you rather die doing what you love than doing what you don't love? At least giving it a shot? What does it matter? Everyone's going to forget us. Everything we do in this life will be forgotten. So why does it matter what we do? I'm not saying go be evil. I'm saying take a chance. Take a chance. Live your dreams. Because what else is there to do? Literally. Well, I gotta pay bills. How am I supposed to live my dreams with these bills? Well, guess what? You just found the next step in your spiritual evolution, my friend. Because there's a problem. So face the problem. Don't cope with it. Sober up. And start thinking about ways you can overcome the problem. And look, you might distract yourself with, the infinite amount of temporary pleasures there are. But until you get your head on straight, you're not going to overcome it. It's not going to just go away. The problems don't ever go away unless you deal with them. It was like one time I was making some rice or something like that. And I spilled some rice on the floor. And I thought, I can take this broom and sweep it right under the oven and I'll never have to look at it again. But then I thought, well then, all of that stuff is going to sit there for the rest of eternity. But it would take me less than 30 seconds to just sweep it up, throw it in the trash, and then for the rest of eternity, it will not be a problem. And once you see things like that, it makes you realize, oh, well, just deal with it now. Don't wait. Deal with it now. Because it's not going away. And if you try to live your life normally, that burden is going to weigh on you throughout your day, ruining your life. But the moment you deal with a problem, guess what? You have relief. I don't have to worry about that anymore. But what do people do? Kick it down the road. I don't want to deal with that now. Let future me deal with that. And then future you has to deal with all of these big problems that you never dealt with. And sometimes that dragon is too powerful for you to overcome. And that's why people die. They get eaten by the dragon. Because they waited too long. They became too weak. The dragon became too strong. The problems killed them. But if you destroy the dragon when it's still young, it's small, well then you gain experience, become stronger, and you don't risk the dragon eating you. And if you just knock out these problems one by one, the monster mind is literally showing you how to live your dream life by overcoming the problems that present themselves to you. Just do what calls out to you in the present moment. You don't got to deal with them all at once because your mind is only designed to focus on one thing at a time. And you'll see, the moment you start ruminating on multiple problems, you start having anxiety because you can't do anything about it. You can only do what's right here, right now. You can only take action in the present moment. Everything else is irrelevant. It's a waste of time. So if you have a problem, ask yourself, can I deal with it now? Yes, then deal with it. No, then forget about it. For now. And focus on what you can deal with. That doesn't mean you just kick it down the road and never think about it again. It means, I can't deal with this problem right now. Let me deal with what I can deal with. And once I gain some momentum, it'll be a lot easier to deal with whatever problems come next. And once you get in the flow, it's a lot easier. But when you're stagnant and you haven't been doing nothing for a long time, if you don't build momentum, your problems are just going to overwhelm you. And you won't be able to do anything about it. It's called procrastination because you're not living in momentum. You're living in stagnation. I mean, not you specifically, but in this case. So you don't go tackle your biggest problems first. You do what's easiest and what calls out to you right now. Maybe you go for a walk because you've been lazy. And you'll see things just start flowing a lot easier once you start moving around and building momentum. It's a lot easier to bounce from one thing to the next, to the next, to the next, than it is to start from doing nothing to doing a whole bunch of stuff. You got to start somewhere. A great quote that I heard one time. If whatever you need to deal with feels like it's too much, it's too big to handle, so you procrastinate, it means you're not taking a small enough step. You don't want to go from right here to right here because that's too big of a gap. It's too much. It's too overwhelming. You want to go from there to there to there to there, and then now you can attack that, and it's not that big of a deal. You must awaken the warrior spirit, my friend. That will be the source of your power. In order to defend the kingdom, there needs to be warriors. You can't just be in the king or queen state. Meaning you got to do something. You got to deal with life as it's, calling out to you. And even if you're a woman, the Vikings had women warriors. But you'll deal with it in your own way. So firstly, true power is found in surrender. Being in the present moment. That is the king or queen state. So we become rooted here. And from this state, we live our life. In the world, still taking action, still doing things, but we're rooted in stillness, in surrender. And it makes approaching the problems in our life a lot easier because at any moment when we get overwhelmed, we can just surrender to the moment and feel relief and get rid of that stress. And then approach the problem once again. But if you're too busy in the world, it's imbalance. If you're too much surrender, go with the flow, there's imbalance. But when you combine the two, you can allow God to bring forth all that is good for you. But at the same time, you can have desires and have a vision for your life and have goals and dreams and strive for them. And now you're really living life. Because you're rooted in safety and security. You're not worried about nothing. And from this state, you accomplish your dreams. Now when you deal with the monster mind, you're not worried. Because if the monster mind was a big dark demon, when you surrender, it's like you have a big lamp thing. You just show you the lamp. Oh, my eyes! It's too bright. That's what the monster mind says. The monster mind just says, stop it. Follow me. I'll lead you to the promised land. Come on. The monster mind says, hey, you got this problem here. Deal with it. You got these negative thoughts? Well, why don't you look at them? What are they telling you about yourself? Are they telling you, you're a little bit insecure. I don't know if I love myself all that much. I don't know if I trust myself. I don't know if I like other people. Life is always telling you to address something. And in your addressing those things, that is your spiritual evolution. So when you experience problems, don't see them as problems. See them as opportunities. Stepping stones to your greatest life, because that is what they are. But they will only be that way if you choose to look at them that way. And from this state, you become effortlessly as powerful as you can be. Because the demons in your life, they will not destroy you anymore. They can only destroy you if you allow more darkness. But once you embody the light, once you're surrendering to God, to the present moment, to life, the light in you increases and increases over time. So you can overcome bigger and bigger foes. But if you are not connected to the light, and you have too much darkness within you, well, your problems may destroy you. You may not survive. Because the darkness can overcome the limited light within us. That is why many of the great tragedies in this world happen. We allow the monster mind to continue to steal our life until there's nothing left, and where life is not, death is. And we become vessels for death in the world. Do not believe a single negative thought your mind tells you. It's not about whether you think your thoughts are true. It's about whether or not this thought is serving me in some way. Is it serving me to live my best life, or is it taking me away from all that is good? And when you realize that God has already taken care of everything, well, now a lot of that survival nonsense can be just ignored. Because if you ask yourself, well, I don't know how I'm going to pay my bills this month. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know what I'm going to do. Well, it doesn't matter. It's already taken care of. Just do what's in front of you. But if it's all on you, well, then now, of course, you're going to be freaking out. That's why you have to surrender and let go and let God. And then live your life. Seek first the kingdom, and then everything else will be added on to you. Don't you remember? I am Ray. Join the spiritual revolution. Link to the communities down below. Much peace and many blessings. And remember, just be.